Now, I'm pretty sure you all know Ratatouille, the movie that made rats seem like not just thieves and house destruction machines, but also cute, sweet, and kind fluffy balls with talents that can come in handy to humans at some point.
You as an adult wouldn't think that way. Of course, having rats wandering around your house and doing the type of grocery shopping people who hate it when there's cameras at stores do is a pretty cool thing. Well, at least that's what they think.
Rats are the major cause of the household food depletion, furniture destruction, and house re-engineering, meaning they will suit your house to their benefit and decide how they want it to look like.
Now, if you're a person who likes waste and has temper issues, I suggest you don't finish building your house. Let the rodents decide how the finish up should be, because in one way or another, they will restructure your house, and I don't think you'll be happy about it once you find out. Now, here's one interesting thing about rats that may actually identify you. Rats are attracted by warm environments with a lot of food supplements, water, waste, nasty materials, and in a place where they can't be bothered by either you or predators. Basically, filthy places. Now, I'm not trying to say that if you live around rats, you're necessarily filthy. Well, I'm trying to say that at this point, you're the embodiment of filth. Okay, I didn't mean that, because I have friends of my own here. So, rats have a very poor eyesight, but a very keen sense of smell and hearing, which is how they manage to outmaneuver, outrun, or even vanish before you realize they were even there to begin with. Rats are highly social animals, and as their population grows, they're becoming closer and closer and more used to humans by day. They become so attached to each other and easily bond with their human guardians in the case of them being raised as pets, returning as much affection as is given to them. Many rats will even groom a human companion's hand and would appreciate a massage, a scratch behind the ears, or even a tickle in return. Recent studies by Jalk Pansip, a neuroscientist at Bowling Green State University, suggest that when rats are playfully tickled, they make chirping sounds that are strikingly similar to human laughter. The rats he studied also bonded socially with the human tickler and even sought to be tickled more. Male rats will snuggle up for a cuddle and find contentment when they are cuddled up in a person's lap. Although female rats are just as affectionate, they tend to be tremendously energetic and curious. Rats become so bonded to their human companions to the point that if they're either forgotten or given away, they can pine away or die. Literally. Now, rats may be small, but they have a strong memory and they're excellent learners. They're capable of understanding complex concepts, and once they learn how to do something, it is highly unlikely that they will ever forget it. To be more specific, once they learn a navigation route, they never forget it, which is something I've witnessed and have done as an experiment. The rats happen to open a hole through the window net, which would then be their secondary route in case the door was closed. And once I found out that they had opened that hole, I blocked it, and for about 4 times in different moments, they tried sneaking into that hole again, only to find out that it was already blocked, to which they then gave up for good. That just went on to tell me that those rats kind of had hope that that hole would be open again anytime soon, which takes a serious amount of intelligence to be able to think that way. Well, it's safe to say that their intelligence can go as far as dogs can. Well, that's because these little guys are highly trainable. They are well capable of learning countless tricks just as dogs are and can even respond to their name. This would perhaps put them above cats because cats, like seriously, cats, motherfuckers don't even give a damn shit about what you tell them or think. They look at you like, the is you? Have we met? No, I think I'm gonna vote for rats on this one. You know, it gets even crazier when you realize that some of the tricks and things that rats can learn, just look at the next clips and see for yourselves.
Spin! 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 You back around? Good job. Good job.
I ended up asking her if I could take any of the babies off her hands.
Good job.
So that was Olive and her sister Donut.
Now tell me that's not impressive. Can your cat do that? I bet 10 pennies it can't. And I'm arguing with you on this one. I'm down for a debate. Just like ants fall into a phenomenon called spiral of death circle, which in turn decides their fate, rats also get involved in a rare phenomenon in which a bunch of these rodents' tails become entwined, effectively creating a gigantic super rat, which was then named king rat. This could be a result of an entangling material like hair, a sticky substance such as sap or gum, or the tails being tied together. Interestingly, this phenomenon has not only been witnessed among rats, but it's also been witnessed among squirrels, which in this case, the term rat is replaced by squirrel in its name. While many scientists have said the rat kings aren't real and dismissed the phenomenon is nothing more than folklore, various specimens are on display in museums across the world, most of them being formed from black rats. Some of the countries that house museums where these rats are kept include Germany, New Zealand, Netherlands, and France. The German Mauritianum Natural History Museum houses the largest well-known mummified rat king, which was found in 1828 in a miller's fireplace at Buchheim, which consists of 32 rats. Sightings of this phenomenon in modern times, especially where the specimens are alive, are very rare. One sighting comes from an Estonian farmer in 2005. Many of the rats in the specimens were alive. However, not all the rats were alive, but most of them, and they're now part of the collection at the University of Tartu Museum of Zoology. Furthermore, on October 20, 2021, still in Estonia, a live rat king of 13 rats was found. The rat king was brought to Tartu University and humanly euthanized because the rats had no way of freeing themselves. Before that, scientists were able to film the rat king alive. Still in the same year, a living rat king of 5 mice was caught on video, this time in Russia. These mice were then also untangled for their safety. Ever since rats moved in with humans, they realized that we are the best chance for their survival. As I mentioned earlier, where there's food lying around, there's definitely going to be rats. Much like it shook most everything else in the world, the COVID pandemic shifted where rats went out to seek their groceries. As restaurants and businesses across the country closed suddenly, rats had to adapt to find groceries in residential areas as people returned home en masse. The stress of finding new food sources killed an estimated hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of rats. But now that they have adapted, and restaurants and businesses have reopened, the rodents have rebounded, with populations on the rise in many major cities. It may come as a surprise to you watching this, but New York City is not the state that rolls in rat infestation. Y'all just have motherfuckers on steroids, that's all. For 8 years in a row, Chicago has been ranked as America's rattiest city. In fact, it has an estimated 647 rats per 100 people, which is insane. To give you a good perspective, that's over 17 million rats per almost 3 million people in Chicago alone. Well, in this case, New York was only ranked second place with about 400 rats per 100 people, which you can figure out how much that would be equivalent to in terms of the entire population of New York. Yeah, because I'm not doing the math, these numbers are killing me. On top of all of this, climate change has brought longer stretches of warmer weather, which means more time for breeding. Oh, and also forgot to mention that on average, a single female rat can give birth to 12 pups a litter, and they can give 1 litter a month, meaning just a single female rat can produce up to 144 pups a year. The scariest part about this is that just a single couple of rats can produce over 15,000 descendants a year. And this is all considering the average number of 12 pups a litter. They are known to produce up to 18 pups a litter, which would make this number grow even further. Now, understanding how fast their population can grow, you can now realize how much of a threat they can become to humans. But similarly to the way we are the reason for their exponential growth, we are their greatest threat. And perhaps getting rid of us as a whole would likely be their final answer. They'll just have to figure out how to get what we provide them, really. Which I don't think would be a big deal, because they're already on it, wiping us out. Over the centuries and decades, rats have been a major cause of deadly diseases and plagues. You didn't get me right, let me rephrase that for you. They cause billions of dollars in damage annually around the world, and carry diseases that can be harmful and sometimes deadly. These diseases are caused by bacteria and viruses that spread to humans through rat urine, saliva, or feces. This means we humans can be infected through bites or scratches from infected or colonized rats, handling of infected rats, or ingestion of food or water that is contaminated by rat excreta. One of the most notorious diseases being the rat bite fever, which is a rare systemic illness caused by the bacterium Streptobacillus moniliformis, with a fatality rate that ranges between 7 and 10% among untreated patients. Another deadly rat-caused disease is the hantavirus, which can lead to hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, a serious and occasionally lethal respiratory disease. The death rate from severe illness is 40 to 50%. Recovery of normal lung function may take weeks to months. It is estimated that about 15% of deer mice carry the virus. In 1994, a mass outbreak of the bubonic plague, which is also reported as pneumonic in some quarters, occurred in India, causing a massive outbreak in a few states. The plague lasted from August 26 to October 18, 1994, and infected 693 people. This then led to 10 deaths within a concentrated residential area and sent more than 50 people to the hospital and triggered the largest migration of about 300,000 people. Speaking of which, I'm kind of starting to think Indians are weird. Damn. This is probably one of the reasons they were the most affected by the plague. You can't make shit up. Don't take it too personal. In December 2013, the bubonic plague hit yet again, this time in a Madagascar village where 20 people reportedly died of the disease. The plague is thought to have taken root in the island nation's prison system following a 2009 coup that left the population in turmoil and lowered the standard of living among the residents. That outbreak only came a year after 60 lives were claimed in what has been Madagascar's deadliest bout of the plague in recent memory. The most devastating plague in human history was the Black Death, and for many years, rats have been blamed for it, due to them being the major cause of flea and lice infestation. It was estimated by historians that this plague was responsible for the death of about 25 million people between 1347 and 1351. Oh, and this number got even higher, all the way up to 200 million, making this the plague with the highest body count in human history. However, this wouldn't have aged well, as in a study published in January 2017 in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, researchers simulated Black Death outbreaks in European cities to try and understand how the plague was spread. In their simulations, they looked at 3 possible models for the infection: rats, airborne transmissions, and fleas and ticks that humans carry around with them on their bodies and clothes. In most of the cities, the model that focused on ticks and fleas on humans was the most accurate for explaining the spread of the disease. And though it may come as a surprise to most, previous studies have backed up these findings. The consensus seems to be that the plague spread way too fast for the rats to be the culprit carriers. Researchers have no idea where they believe that the rats were the cause of this plague came from. Despite the belief we have of them being filthy and all, rats are actually kind of hygienic, which means they will groom themselves whenever they feel dirty, and that includes removing parasites off their bodies. Heck, rats will also groom themselves after any experience that threatens their natural smell. This means that it's perfectly normal for a rat to groom itself after being played with, after a bath, getting wet, engaging in a fight, or eating something messy. And who said Tom and Jerry couldn't get along? They're more compassionate than most humans are to others. Rats may look innocent, but don't get fooled. They may well be the Pacific Rim precursors plan B of wiping us out, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. Okay, I'ma stop yapping as of now. Don't forget to hug your pets. In fact, if you have rats at home, hug them and show them as much love as you can. Who knows, that way they will change size. Oh, don't worry about the new outfit. So, see you in the next video. Peace.